One of the best parts of any epic action RPG is the ability to immerse yourself in that world. Part of what makes some games so immersive is the ability to create your own character and tell that character's story within the world. Starfield promises to put players into the world of the settled systems in the year 2330, and Todd Howard has described the game's character creation as, quote, the most flexible yet. In this video, I want to discuss Starfield's character creation in depth and tell you all that we know about it so far. So without further ado, here we go. Each player character will begin with the basics. You'll start out with a biometric ID, which provides a base model to design your character, with each model having its own personnel record. And based on the gameplay footage shown, it appears there's around 15 starting options that were shown. Players can also customize their body shape and size, defining the body between 3 points of muscular, thin, and heavy. You will also be able to adjust the body type, the walking style, and the character's skin tone. And of course, you can edit your face. In the gameplay footage shown, we can see options for skin tone, hair color, eyes, and head shape, and we'll also likely see customization for eye color, nose, and lips as well. When you create a character in Starfield, you'll also be able to begin with a background story for your character. Each background has a short bio describing who you are and provides you with 3 starting skills, which I believe can be altered and changed throughout the game, however your background cannot. Backgrounds will affect the way that NPCs see and interact with you throughout the world. Some may appear more friendly, while others may be apprehensive based on the background you choose. According to Todd Howard, there are 20 backgrounds in total, and currently we know about 16 of them and have details on 5. While covering the backgrounds, I'll go through the list of ones we know only the name of first, then go through the ones with more in-depth information. The first 3 backgrounds we see are the Beast Hunter, the Bouncer, and the Bounty Hunter. While we didn't get to see in-depth detailed information about these 3 backgrounds, I would predict that the Beast Hunter has increased starting skills in weapon skills and resource obtaining, while the Bouncer probably has some skills that revolve around melee damage and health, and the Bounty Hunter probably also has some starting skills in weapon skills and as well as some other things. The next 3 being the Explorer, the Gangster, and the Homesteader. I predict the Explorer will give you skills possibly in map knowledge or resource location, while the Gangster may give you starting skills in weapon skills and persuasion, and I feel like the Homesteader will likely give you skills in food creation / farming as well as health or healing. Next up we have the Industrialist, the Long Hauler, and the Pilgrim. Just based on the name, I predict that the Industrialist will give you more starting skills in something like crafting or resource obtaining as well, while the Long Hauler sounds like someone who will have skills in carrying capacity and stamina. And the Pilgrim also sounds kind of interesting and sort of up in the air, possibly having some starting skills in stamina or persuasion. And the last 2 were the Professor and the Ronin, the ones that were really the hardest for me to sort of think about what they might be and what they might start with. Just based on the name, I figured the Professor could possibly start with starting skills such as diplomacy or different skills involving knowledge, while the Ronin, I'm honestly not totally sure. Just based on the definition of a Ronin, which is a wandering samurai who had no lord or master, I would assume that this trait may start out with increased melee skills or something similar to that. When describing the backgrounds that we actually have some information on, the first up is the Chef. While the unrefined masses scarp down chunks by the shipload, you cater to those with a more discerning plate. In your kitchen, countless alien species became true culinary masterpieces. So that is the description of the Chef, so let's look at some of the starting skills. The Chef will have skills in gastronomy, dueling, and wellness, giving you the ability to craft specialty foods and drinks, research additional recipes, do 10% more damage with melee weapons, and gain 30 points in maximum health. Next up is the Combat Medic. Leave it to human beings to fight over something as infinite as outer space. That's where you come in. You've never been afraid to take on the enemy, but you'd much rather take care of your friends. The Combat Medic has pistol certification, medicine, and weightlifting skills, giving you 10% more pistol damage, 10% more medpack healing, and increasing your total carry capacity by 10 kilograms. We also have the Cyber Runner. From Neon to New Atlantis, the Megacorps stand as monuments to power, prestige, and profit. You've worked both for and against them on the inside and out, often sacrificing conscience for credits. The Cyber Runner has pistol certification, security, and persuasion skills. Alongside beginning with more pistol damage, you can also hack advanced locks and have an increased chance of success in different speech challenges. Next up is the Cyberneticist. Robots, mere toys. Neuroamps, good for parlor tricks. The Colony War may have made implants and upgrades available to veterans, but you once saw a greater future. Humans and machines as one. As a Cyberneticist, your starting skills will increase healing by 10% more, deal 10% more damage to robots and turrets, and deal 10% more damage with laser weapons. And the final background we actually got some detailed information on was the Diplomat. The wars are over. Peace now reigns as settled systems. But only because there are those quietly fighting to keep it. Because of you, agreements were signed, words were heeded, lives were spared. The diplomat will begin with starting skills of persuasion, diplomacy, and bargaining, increasing your chance of success on speech challenges, forcing NPC targets or below at your level to stop fighting for a while, and allowing you to buy items for 5% less while selling them for 10% more. Out of the ones listed, I would say that so far the Cyber Runner probably takes the cake as my favorite. Alright guys, so next up we're going to talk about some traits. But before we get into that, if you're enjoying the video, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Traits provide you different advantages and disadvantages depending on your selection. And some traits will actually cancel out other traits, meaning that if you select this trait, you won't be able to select the other trait. You'll be able to choose 3 traits from a host of different traits. In the video footage we saw 16 listed traits, some of which we were able to see the details of. However, based on some of the information given on the ones that we did see, we can kind of understand or figure out what some of the other ones might give us in terms of advantage or disadvantage. The first 2 traits that we see are called Alien DNA and Empath. For Alien DNA, I'm not totally sure what this one may be. Be sure and let me know what you might think. In terms of the Empath trait, I feel like this will make you connect more with other people and they may offer you more advantages or they may be more friendly to you as a result. Next up is the extrovert trait. While we didn't actually see the description of it, being that it's the opposite of the introvert trait, it is likely that you're going to enjoy being around others and have more endurance adventuring with your companions. Next up, let's talk about what are the 3 faction allegiance traits. The first up being the one that we actually got the description of, the Neon Street Rat. The description says you grew up on the mean streets of Neon. You gain access to special dialogue options and better rewards from some missions on Neon. Crime bounty by other factions is greatly increased. And it says in the description it cannot be combined with any other faction allegiance trait. So now let's go back and look at the Freestar Collective Settler, another faction allegiance trait. This one will likely say that you're a member of the Freestar Collective. It will likely give you access to those special dialogue options as well as better rewards from some missions in Aquila City, which is home of the Freestar Collective. And the final faction allegiance trait is the United Colonies Native. This one will also likely say that you grew up as a member of the United Colonies Collective. It will probably also provide you to those special dialogue options and give you better rewards for some missions in New Atlantis, which is home of the United Colonies. Next up is the introvert trait. The introvert trait says you really need your time alone, you have more endurance when adventuring alone, but less when adventuring with other human companions. And as said before, it cannot be combined with the extrovert trait. You also have kid stuff. It says your parents are alive and well and you can visit them at their home, but 10% of all the money you earn is deducted automatically and sent to them. So you can visit your parents in this game, but it's going to cost you. So next up, let's talk about the 3 religion traits. And just like the faction allegiance traits, these cannot be combined with any other religious trait. The first religious trait is the Raised Enlightened. It says that you grew up as a member of the Enlightened. You gain a significant discount at the organization store but lose access to Sanctum Universum store. We also have the Raised Universal. You grew up as a member of the Sanctum Universum. You gain a significant discount at the church store but lose access to the Enlightened store. And possibly the most interesting one, the Serpent's Embrace. You grew up worshipping the Great Serpent. Grav jumping provides a temporary boost to health and endurance, but health and endurance are lowered if you don't continue jumping regularly, like an addiction. Next up we have Spaced. Your body has become acclimated to space. Health and endurance are increased when in space, but decreased when on the surface, and it cannot be combined with terra firma. So looking down at terra firma, this is likely going to decrease your health and endurance in space, but increase it on the surface, so the opposite of space. Next is another really interesting one, and that is Starter Home. You own a small house on a peaceful little moon, but it comes with a 50,000 credit mortgage to the Gal Bank. So basically you're going to be starting the game in debt and having to pay that off as you go. Next is a Taskmaster, which I predict is probably going to be a class that provides boosts in building, crafting, or repairing objects and structures. And finally, we have the Unwanted Hero, which I honestly don't know what that could be, so be sure and let me know what you think. Alright everyone, so that's going to be everything that we know about Starfield's character creation. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure and drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure and subscribe for more information on Starfield as well as other games releasing this year. Be sure and let me know what you're most excited for about the game in the comments down below, and also be sure and let me know, how do you think that you're going to create your character? I'd be very interested to know. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure and drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.